Since the beginning of time, it has been human nature to wonder about the origins of the universe as well as life beyond what exists on planet Earth. These questions have been at the heart of films for decades now. While scientists commit their lives to understanding the cosmos through instruments like telescopes, authors and filmmakers take another approach. The beauty of the art of film lies in its ability to teleport its audience to another world, or another version of our world, to experience something more exciting, or beautiful, or cinematic. When it comes to the larger questions about our existence, movies use visuals to show the audience possible futures, or pasts, or events just really far away. Interstellar is a movie that takes a jab at a relatively scientifically accurate space adventure. And when I say relatively scientifically accurate, I mean it is accurate to the extent of humans' current knowledge. If you've ever watched It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, you know that
science is a liar sometimes.
Oh boy.
The film takes you to places that humans have never been and possibly will never go. Astrophysicist Kip Thorne worked closely with the director of Interstellar, Christopher Nolan, to create a somewhat realistic rendering of a black hole. Cooper enters the black hole, and from there on out, it is Christopher Nolan's experimental vision of life inside of one. It is beautiful and almost positively, completely wrong. But in my opinion, it defeats the whole purpose of the film to admit that it is wrong. It is just as valid of a theory as any other scientist's interpretation of the inside of a black hole. We simply do not know. Nolan plays with the concept of stepping out of the confines of time to communicate with his daughter in the past. This is something that scientists have contemplated forever. Is it possible to break free from the shackles of time? In the human experience, time moves forward at a constant rate that we are perpetually bound to. 2001: A Space Odyssey by Stanley Kubrick has similar themes as Interstellar, but is stripped of the Hollywood tropes and famous talent like Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway and Matt Damon. 2001 is the brainchild of Kubrick's existential imagination, and it was inspired by the short story The Sentinel, which was written by Arthur C. Clarke. The film 2001 is broken up into 4 parts. We see the dawn of man, the human exploration of the moon, human space travel deeper into our solar system, and the last chapter is a little bit harder to explain. David Bowman, the space traveler who just disabled the highly intelligent artificial intelligence which was beginning to turn on him.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
He arrives in a room which he got to via a monolith, which is a theme throughout the film. Stanley Kubrick himself said the film is up to the audience's interpretation. And I could spend all day trying to analyze the end sequence of this film and the birth of humanity and whatnot, but I don't know what I'm talking about half the time, and I don't even think Stanley Kubrick understood what he made when he made this movie, so I don't really have time to get into that, but I am going to dive a bit deeper into the evolution of humanity that is expressed through 2001: A Space Odyssey. An author named Carol Fry wrote a very insightful critical essay on 2001's commentary on human evolution. Fry points out that the evolution of humanity is directly linked to technological advancement, so much so to the point that humans start to seem obsolete. Fry says the film repeatedly invites us to see the contrast between the sophistication of technology and the banality of human conversation. Now, I always thought that Kubrick simply intended on making the human dialogue in the movie dry and unoriginal because their conversation wasn't really important to the narrative of 2001. But the more I've thought about it, I believe that Kubrick is trying to point out the consequence of advanced technology on human brain and the way we communicate with each other. In 2001, they're highly dependent on advanced technology such as HAL, and we see where that gets them. On the complete other side of the spectrum, we have a film called Arrival. If you have not seen this movie, you should go watch it for your sake, and also because I don't have the time, energy, or the brain to really fully explain this movie. But to summarize it, 12 alien ships arrive on Earth in different countries around the world, and the audience watches as humans react the way you would expect humans to react in this situation. But thankfully, linguist Dr. Louise Banks is enlisted by the United States military to attempt to communicate with the aliens whose language is nothing like humans. Now, human communication, as you know, operates within the confines of time. You don't know what I'm going to say 2 minutes from now. You have to wait for the words to leave my mouth in the future. Or you'll stop listening now and you can miss out on something really cool, like my mom's brownie recipe, which I would never share, but I might. And you don't know that yet, because that is how time works and how human communication works. Anyway, the aliens in Arrival communicate in these circular blobs that are nonlinear. The point of the arrival of the aliens is to deliver this form of communication to humans. Of course, most of humanity is not prepared for this level of communication and believes that aliens have come to deliver a weapon. And the countries that all have a ship, they disconnect communications from each other in fear that the aliens are going to inspire this war with a new weapon. Dr. Louise Banks understands that they aren't delivering a weapon, but they're trying to deliver a tool, and the tool is their language. As Dr. Louise Banks learns the alien language, she is able to perceive time differently. We learn that the things we experienced at the beginning of the movie actually didn't even happen yet. And she's able to do this because of the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis, which Arrival embraces in a very literal way. The hypothesis suggests that the grammatical and verbal structure of a person's language influences how they perceive the world. And as Dr. Louise Banks learns the alien language, the way she understands time changes, and it's completely different. In 2001, technology was the driving force of human evolution forward. In Arrival, technology that the military has almost destroys them. Arrival is making the argument that communication and understanding is the key to the next step in human evolution. Science fiction film is a way for creative minds to paint a picture of themes that are larger than human understanding. Through the films Interstellar, 2001, and Arrival, we are shown concepts, ideas, and potential realities that our brains, or at least mine, are just simply too small to truly understand. We can learn about black holes and space travel in a classroom or through books, but we can't experience these things. Creative films simulate these concepts for our enjoyment and can even inspire new ways of thinking.